It was such a public relationship, and there was such a spotlight on you guys that
That's
I
funny,
think
yeah.
what gets lost is that was a real intense
Yeah.
love.
It was. I really felt like when I met Ben, I was like, okay, this is it. Sometimes I feel like what you think people are and how you see them when you love them is different than when they reveal later. And I think we didn't try to have a public relationship. And we just happened to be together at the birth of the tabloids. And it was like, oh my God. And it was just a lot of pressure. It was a lot of pressure. And I think, different time, different thing, who knows what could have happened. But I will say that there was a genuine love there.
What did you learn in your relationship with Sean Combs? It was a very productive relationship.
It was. It was.
And some bad press also.
Oh God, I mean, we went through some very traumatic events together, I learned a lot about the music business with him. I also, learned, personally some things that, I've always not been one to talk too much about that, but just, it just helped me grow. It helped me grow to, what I wanted, and kind of learning to stand up for myself and things like that in future relationships. Marc and I had gotten married, and his idea of what music in the music business was and my idea, it was like two different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was very influenced because I was always a huge fan of his even before we met.
He had worked on a previous album.
Well, he had sang on my very first album. I don't know, I felt like at that time I lost my way a little bit of who I was in trying to make the marriage and concentrate, because I had been married twice before and I didn't want this to be a failure, that I just put all my heart and soul into that.
It's a lot of pressure.
I forgot who I was as an individual a little bit and as a person, and I let other people and things influence me instead of knowing who I was at that time. And that's why I say it's kind of a blur.
It was a sad time too, because a marriage was coming to an end.
But it was the right thing. And I think that's why I think the empowerment has to come first.
Right.
And then of course it's sad. It was devastating and awful to think that we were not going to make this last, because I think both Marc and I both thought at the time we'll be together for the next 40 years, until we die. And for the realization to start coming in that wasn't going to be the case was probably the biggest disappointment of my life so far.